Okay.
Now call this meeting back to order. Madam Clerk, you establish a quorum, please.
Thank you. Matt Conant, Nick Abdis.
Here.
Tom Barandis. Here. Brian Holloway. Cyril Shaw. Here. Angelique Ashby. Here. Jeff Harris.
He just came in.
Rick Jennings.
Here.
Sue Frost. Here. Don Natoli.
Here.
Susan Peters.
Here.
I'm sorry, Howard Schmidt. Patrick Kennedy. And Phil Cerna.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
All right, great. Ms. Gilchrist, do we have a report out from closed session?
On Government Code Section 54956.8, conference with real property negotiators regarding Sutter County APNs 35150-006 and 35160-006 under negotiation, price and terms of payment.
Okay, Director Cerna recused himself from this item and did not participate. It was moved by Director Harris, seconded by Director Shaw, that the purchase go through with the property owner, and the prices in terms of payment will be made public when they are completed.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please call the next item?
Our first item would be the Executive Director's Report for May 18th, 2017.
Good afternoon, Rick Johnson. Just wanted to take a few moments there. We've been doing some testing out at the Joint Federal Project, and I just wanted to show this real brief video just to show. I've shown you the pictures before, but this kind of is interesting. So, Lindy, do I push something or do you push something? Oh, there it goes. I had them turn the sound up. Anyway, it's real short, but it kind of impressive to see that being controlled, not like some of what we experienced earlier. So upstream. Okay, so
real quick, just since you did bring us that video, Rick, is the water supposed to crawl up the sides of the spillway like that?
Well, normally we open and balance, so the gate next to that would have also been open, and they would have guided. The flows wouldn't have gone sideways; they would have kind of forced themselves down.
But is there? I'm sure. Is the spillway structure itself designed to absorb some energy on the sidewalls like that, as high as we saw the water going? Okay.
Do we have a technical difficulty? Okay. There we go. She's got it there, Lindy, thanks. Okay, so a couple of things. May 5th, Congress finally, we've got 4.5 months left in the fiscal year for 17, and they finally passed an appropriations bill, and the president signed it into law. So the far left column is what's in our appropriations bill. So a couple of things I want to note on that. You know, we've been up around 100 million or more, and so you see right there it's 41 million. There's a few things I want to point out on that. One, we finished up the American River work, we finished up South Sacramento Stream, so we don't have any line items for those anymore. And we didn't need a lot on the Joint Federal Project, and there'll be a little bit more in 18, and then we're done with that one. So those basically we're finishing up 3 of the projects, and then we're trying to get 3 more started. So we do have funding in there for Natomas, and that's for that first contract that's moving forward. And you'll see the raise shows 0 there, and the reason for that is we've had some design issues with the raise. We were always planning to go forward and after the Joint Federal Project was done and the contracts contractors were out of the way in fiscal year 2018. The design slowed down a little bit. We'll still award a contract in 2018. But the district didn't need any more money to continue design. They received almost $19 million in 2016. So with that, they were able to zero out. They didn't need any more for the final 4.5 months. But in addition to that, Congress did give the Corps another $340 million with the direction to put together a work plan. So we've been working and requesting that we get some additional funds for Natomas. There's some more work that is ready to go with the funding available, and to get some of the design work going on the GRR that was just authorized last December. And so by moving out some of the raise money and with this work plan money, that gives us an opportunity to get some additional funding in the work plan. The work plan should be out within the next couple of weeks, and we understand the FY 2018 budget should also be out very soon, so we'll know a little more if we were successful in our efforts at getting some additional funding. So I'll report that next time to you. Okay, I do have a little information. We hear a lot about the $1 trillion infrastructure plan. So the other day, the Department of Transportation Secretary did come out with a little more detail. The categories covered right now are highways, transit, railways, inland waterways, and ports. She said that energy, water, and broadband might also be included. The idea is they're going to put $200 million in federal fund, $200 billion in federal funding, with the idea of generating $800 billion in private funding. And she did state that states and localities that bring their own funding to the table do have priority. Currently, according to what she said, the federal government pays for about 20% of the infrastructure in the country, and so that's what they're basing the $200 billion, sorry, I'm off, on. So the administration wants to keep that same cost share percentage. OMB is working on finding other areas to cut in order to fund that, so that there's no additional debt. Oops. Wrong way. Okay. So here's the thing that makes a little uncertain for us is our cost share is 65% federal, 35% state and local. We don't really have a product under flood to monetize, so not quite sure how that fits in the paradigm with the private. At this point, there's been no indication if or how flood would fit into that bill, so we're still waiting to see that. We've been discussing a lot back in DC, but we're still waiting to see. And then we do have to watch the Corps' pot of money that funds our projects in that slice of the pie where OMB is looking to take that $200 billion in cuts. So I'm hoping it doesn't inadvertently affect our funding. So that's the latest that I have on that infrastructure plan. With that, I'll see if there's any questions.
Any comments from folks? Member Natoli?
Yeah, and just a question, Rick. So if I understand correctly from what was explained to you by OMB, that they're going to claim credit for a $1 trillion infrastructure bill, same amount of federal dollars, and oftentimes that comes with, we have to match it. So is it supposedly the private sector, the $800 billion, that's going to, they're just going to make that available? How do they recover? Is the federal government going to pay the interest on the money, or what's the plan there?
The idea is, the concept is to have the private put the funds up front, and then such as a toll road or when you sell water, energy, something like that, then the private gets their funding back that way.
So how does that work with flood protection?
It doesn't. That's my point.
That's your point, yeah.
So that's where we're struggling a little bit. How does flood fit into this paradigm there? So.
How does broadband fit into that?
Yeah. So anyway, because we don't really have a product to monetize, and so that's the struggle with flood right now.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Member Shaw?
So on that same note, then, is that 800 billion, and I understand how it could work with a freeway or toll road, but that 800 billion in private financing is to be structured or sought and structured by our agency, not on a larger scale on the federal level, and then that would be parsed out. It would be up to us to leverage that 20 into 100.
This is the first, the president has indicated he wants to do a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. This is really the first detail that we've gotten from any of his administration. It's still way up here, and like I say, flood right now is not included in it. So I'm not sure the mechanisms. I'm sure each category would have to have its own mechanism because each one's a little bit different. But they've still got a lot of work to do on that. I just wanted to make you aware because we hear so much about it. I think everyone was excited that we'd get all this additional funding, but it might not actually be that beneficial for flood at this point. Anyway, I just kind of.
Okay, thank you. Member Conant?
Yes, I guess it's not only shovel ready, it's money ready.
Yes, right. So.
All right, great. Thank you.
Moving on to separate matters, item number 11, informational item presenting fiscal year 2017-18 proposed budget.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Advis and members of the board. Thank you for this time today. It's that time of year again. We're at a point where we're looking for your input regarding our annual budget. As Lindy said in the introduction there, this is an informational item. We intend to bring the full budget hearing next month, and so that we can have hopefully an adopted budget in time so that we can meet state law requirements. So for today, we would like to just present to you a conservative budget in our mind regarding the way that we see the world in our arena as far as federal funding as well as some state funding, and we'll get into that in a little bit more detail. The budget assumptions and other things will be presented to you today that kind of indicate exactly what our thought process is as we're putting our budget numbers together. I would like to thank the Finance Committee for meeting with us last week on the 9th to kind of go over the first pass of what we were bringing forward today. There are some minor changes in what we presented to them based on the feedback that we received. So again, thank you both for joining us. So as I mentioned, there are some budget assumptions that we have to make, or some assumptions we have to make when we're creating budget. The SAFCA budget assumes that the project priorities that we are moving forward with do not change, and we know that priorities are always able to change, but this budget is assuming that we can move forward as planned. Projects also need to advance as scheduled. Time and money are somehow intrinsically related, and of course we have schedules and projects that are on our books, and we want to continue to make sure that we're moving forward in that regard. Programs that help us guide, these are regulations or other things, we want to make sure that we're assuming the status quo, that we're not anticipating any major changes in the urban levee design codes or any of the ULOP, which is the urban level of protection, flood protection, or the NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program. SAFCA revenue, we have to make some assumptions regarding our revenue and the proceeds that we are going to receive from others. So we have a contract with the state for the early implementation program that is associated with the Natomas Basin. We also have the Urban Flood Risk Reduction Program, or UFR, where we have state revenues that are associated with the LAP. So we have made assumptions regarding both of those programs as well as what we anticipate for the development impact fee. And again, this is a conservative estimate for budget purposes. So as you can see in our budget, we're looking at budget appropriations of roughly $160 million. Those appropriations sound very large, but they also do take into consideration our reserves and our fund balance. But you can see current estimates for the current year's fund balance is $114 million. We have anticipated revenues just under $45 million, and we're proposing expenses in the $98 million range with some intra-fund transfers included in that. And we anticipate that we would have reserves at the end of fiscal year 17-18 of $65.8 million. Again, this is an all funds budget, and we're going to now talk a little bit about each one of the separate funds that SAFCA has. So each of these funds are based either on assessments or based on the development impact fee. So as we talk, you'll see that we're going to only talk about a few of these. Again, you can take a look at that breakdown by each fund regarding the expenditures, and some funds are obviously a little more robust than others. So I don't want to get too far into the revenue discussion of each one of those line items unless you would like to. On the expense side, we have a number of items coming forward, particularly in the Consolidated Capital Assessment District, that you'll see some good progress that we're making, as well as the programs that we plan to advance this coming fiscal year. So getting started, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to try and cover just the four budgets or funds that have the arrows next to them. The 325C and 325E are both somewhat placeholders for our funding schemes that have happened in the past, not a significant amount of activity there. So in the interest of time, the information is provided in your board packet. And if there are any questions about that, we are able to go ahead and go over that today. So moving on, $98.6 million, as I said, in expenditures are planned. And to begin, we'll start with the Fund 325A. This is our Operations and Maintenance Assessment District Fund. The O&M fund handles all of our internal operations as well as other things that are not covered under the assessment district funds. This is our staff time, our rent for the space that we occupy, as well as other planning and other things that is performed by staff that aren't necessarily fit within the agreements that we have with the lessees, our assessees regarding the assessments that we've levied. So again, we have about $11 million. This expense is in line with what we have had in the budget for a number of years. One of the main things that you will see that's different is in this year, we are anticipating to proceed with paying off our 1996 bonds for the O&M budget. $2.9 million in expenditure will actually save us $500,000 over the remaining life of this bond issuance. So we're in a position where we think it's a good move just to cut out those interest payments for the future. On the revenue side, it's a status quo budget. Assessment revenue projected at $6.3 million, and our charges for service, this is staff time charging to projects, is relatively level. The Development Impact Fee Fund is one that we brought back to you earlier in the year regarding an update. Our plan at this point is expenses of about $7 million. We have some services and supplies in this budget for some studies, but also just to maintain the budget and the fund, and to also maintain the other activities that we might have that are not quite into the capital project arena yet, but are developing into that. On the capital project side, we have about $4 million in expenditures planned. I will get into one of those efforts in just a minute here. We are looking at operating transfers of $2.8 million. There was a transaction that took place in July of 2007 that was for the purchase of some land and easements. The money was actually funded by the O&M budget, and this transaction is reimbursing the O&M fund for that effort. I'm sorry, that was a little too quick there. We are planning not a robust revenue generation here. We are planning that the revenue is $2.5 million from DIF. This is slightly lower than the 5-year average of 2.7. It's a $1.5 million increase over last year's estimate. We have seen some significant activity and additional proceeds coming in the DIF, but still that 5-year average is just above this number here. We want to make sure that we're budgeting conservatively on the diff, because we don't want to anticipate that we're going to receive revenue and then not receive it. So the plan here is to go ahead and be very conservative in our approach, and then as it changes, we will adjust as we move forward. So the capital project that I just mentioned is the Bright landfill relocation. This is the big red arrow is pointing to the Bright landfill, which is off of the Sacramento bypass. Efforts have continued to develop this project, and we're anticipating that we will actually see some construction activity during the fiscal year 17-18. If there are any questions regarding the Bright landfill, I'll just try and answer those now if you'd like. And I will see none, I'll move on. Thank you. So Fund 325G, this is the Natomas Basin Local Assessment District. This is actually a pass-through type fund, not officially, but that's kind of how we're using it. As you can see, the expenses in this are really just the minor costs of producing the levy, the roll for the levy, I should say, and the format of actually processing through the county this fund and the monies that roll through it. The revenue that we're anticipating here is actually part of a state EIP program. So we receive reimbursements from the state for the performance of the activities in the Natomas Basin. What we're doing here is just, instead of putting this in the Consolidated Capital Assessment District and mixing it in with the rest of our proceeds, we're setting this aside so we can say if there's activities in Natomas, or if we would like, we could potentially in the future use this money to get rid of some debt when the time comes for us to be able to call bonds. So at this point in time, we're saying $5.2 million in revenues anticipated from the state. We'll put it in the Natomas budget, and hopefully we'll, in 2024, be able to call some of those bonds and reduce the debt and the interest payments. So right now, our debt service in Natomas is $2.3 million. Does not run through this, it runs through the trust fund accounts. Any questions regarding that? That's kind of a new subject here. It's a little out of sequence with the rest of these things. Okay. We're getting to the meat now. Consolidated Capital Assessment District number 2. As you know, this fund is a new fund, new this year. It originates from the creation of the Consolidated Capital Assessment District in June of last year. We, as you may know, or hopefully know, that we issued bonds in November. We had bond proceeds that we've booked this year, and at this point in time, we're showing the expenses that we're anticipating for this coming fiscal year at $80.5 million. Services and supplies in this budget of $2.4 million covers some of the non-project related things such as O&M or other aspects of the efforts that are not specific but may include regular operations as described in the CCAD engineer's report. We have other charges of $3.6 million. Some of this is, or actually most of this is our internal agreements with our LMAs, the local maintaining agencies. So these are the O&M payments and other things that go to them. And then we have a robust, I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek, the numbers that Rick was throwing around a little while ago, not so robust in comparison, but our capital expenditures this year are anticipated to be around $70.5 million. So the lion's share of what we do in SAFCA is running through this fund here. Operating transfers of $4 million. That's associated also with some advance payments and other things that were done from the O&M fund, as well as setting aside $2 million to address our obligation for the joint federal project. We have to set aside money for future OMRR&R, that's operations and maintenance, repair, replacement, and rehabilitation. So that effort is hopefully going to take place this year, depending on when the turnover of the JFP occurs. Revenue, we're anticipating revenue in the $30 million area. Revenue from the state is $15 million, and that is for the UFER program associated with the LAP projects. So this is a new contract. Well, I say new, but it's relatively new. We're getting started now with the state. We're anticipating some advance payment revenue from them. This is actually semi-aggressive in the plan as far as where we end up, but $15 million is a good number for us to work with for now. Our net assessment revenue for this year, this is assessment revenue after we pay our new debt service for CC 82, is $15 million. That will actually change in fiscal year 18-19. This year, our debt service is lower than what it is going to be from this point forward. So $15 million will be coming in for those efforts. So this pie chart kind of gives you an indication as to how we break down our capital costs. Right now, you can see that it's somewhat balanced between three areas: Natomas, North Area Streams LAP, and Sac River LAP. These are the major projects that we have going, and then we have a number of continuing operational and budgetary activities for Folsom Dam, as well as a number of other projects. That project list is provided in your board packet as Exhibit 1 to Attachment G. F, thank you, that was a change. So if you have any questions regarding those specific projects, those project totals are shown on that page. So a little bit about Folsom Dam. As you can see, this budget includes 3 specific projects. They are summed up over on the bottom right of a little over $5 million. And you can see that the water control manual is still on there. I know that's a subject that continuously is coming up, and we're anticipating that we will have that by the fall, hopefully. Am I right? North Area Streams is a project that your board has awarded, and we're greatly anticipating starting that project in the near future. Contractor is on board under contract, and we are now at a point where we're receiving submittals and looking for a start date. So the program, you can see the description here kind of breaks down our costs, anticipated costs for this effort for this the proposed fiscal year, sorry. This is not the total project cost, but the budgeted fiscal year budget for this North Area Streams project. We have continuous activities on the LAP Sac River project. You can see there is no construction planned in the fiscal year 17-18 for this effort. However, we do have a number of activities that are taking place regarding the real estate design and then just the normal environmental efforts that we have to do with any project. However, it's just a little bit more robust. Just wanted to give you a breakdown so you can see what activity is taking place on the Sac River LAP effort. And then we have Natomas, where we have multiple headings again on the Exhibit 1 of Attachment F. There are a number of headings regarding each reach and the associated costs with those reaches. What this slide represents is the total of about $26.5 million worth of effort going into Natomas federal project. It's for a number of different things, but you can see that the primary expense that we're anticipating and also maybe considering still is the land purchases that are taking place. As we discussed a little bit earlier, this number is actually going to now change a little bit. We anticipate that the actions that have been taken earlier will actually reduce this number because the costs will actually hit before the turn of the fiscal year. So some significant issues to consider going forward. As we know, the federal appropriations are kind of our keystone to our operations. And Rick is always very in tune with what's going on as far as we can tell at the federal level. But at this point in time, federal appropriations are very much something that we need to be monitoring continuously and hopefully come to fruition. Then we also have our other partners, the state of California and state funding. I think we got a little bit of news that we might have some relief theoretically, but the state funding after Props 1E and 84 fundings dry up is somewhat suspect. So we need to make sure that progressing our projects, keeping that in mind. So again, our budget assumes that we're going to have revenue from Prop 1E funds and possibly some more Prop 84 funds. But beyond that, we aren't assuming any other revenues from the state. So again, we have our $159,736,947 in appropriations. Nice round number, right? Again, this is what we're proposing. This is just an informational item, and we anticipate that if any questions that you have today, we will look to see what we can do to resolve any concerns or questions you have, and we will also be bringing back to your board next month for the actual budget hearing for the 17-18 budget. So with that, are there any questions?
Thanks, Mr. Campbell. Any questions from board members, comments? Member Shaw?
Just one question on that CCAD 2 funding. I see the bond proceeds, that $105 million and another $5 million from somewhere else. And then it looks like in 17-18 we have the $80 million in expenditures. Do we anticipate that all of the projects that are going to be funded from that pool will be completed in the 17-18 budget year? And then the follow-up question is, then what will the funding source be beyond that? I guess we'll have a $30 million surplus, but what will be the funding source beyond that?
So the funding sources remain the same. We still have the same funds. The bond proceeds and the revenues that we receive from the state, as well as those assessment revenues and DIF revenues, are what we'll use in the future years for those projects. So not all of those projects, actually I don't know if any of those projects will actually be completed in this single fiscal year that's proposed. But those funds are primarily ongoing efforts that will continue beyond 17-18, and in future budgets we will use bond proceeds and assessment revenues and others. But this does not exhaust all of ours. Plus we have fund balance rolling into this year. Let me back up here. You'll see the $114 million in fund balance is current fund balance that we'll carry forward and use that as well. So the 65 will likely go up. I hate to say that, but that's probably the reality, is that 65 million in fund balance will be greater when we go to next year's budget.
Great, thank you.
Okay, no other comments? Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. I'm just going to stay up here.
Are you up next again? All right, please call the next item.
Next item 12, resolution number 2017046, for the exception to the 180-day wait period, California Government Code Section 7522.56 and Code Section 21224, and exception of retired annuitant employment agreement with Timothy Washburn.
I don't know what to say here other than, at this point in time, Tim is telling everybody he's going to depart here pretty quick. What we're looking at, excuse me, what we're looking at here is a government code requirement from CalPERS and for other defined benefit programs that requires that if we want to hire a retired annuitant, there is typically a 180-day waiting period. Sorry, a little tongue twisted there. That 180-day waiting period, we're asking to waive. Tim is working on several critical projects that are listed in the board agenda packet. Those projects aren't going to stop for 180 days while we wait for him to come back. And as you likely know, or hopefully know, Tim is a critical part of everything SAFCA these days, and always has been. I believe he's been here since inception. So what we're asking for today is that the board go ahead and waive that 180-day period, and also let us enter into an agreement with Tim to come back as a retired annuitant not to exceed 960 hours annually.
Member Harris?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I'd like to move the resolution and suggest we tie a tight rope to Tim.
I will second that myself. I too want to express my gratitude, Tim, for the knowledge and skill and experience you bring to the staff here, as well as many others. And it'd be a shame to see you leave, and I'm glad you're going to be around regional flood control efforts owe a lot to you and others. Thank you for sticking around. Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank
So,
you.
On that regard, I anticipate that there will be something in the next month's meeting for Tim as well, whether he likes it or not. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And speaking of next month's meeting, I'd like to point out to directors, we will be meeting at the city for the June meeting due to budget meetings being here. And then we'll return in July to the county.
All right. Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank everybody for their patience, and I also like to thank Patrick Kennedy for being conflicted out today at another commitment, serving on the No Place Like Home Advisory Committee, which allowed me to chair this meeting, so thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll adjourn today's meeting. Thank you.